Chapter 209, Uncomfortable Muscle Reflex Training. Actually, it's not a condition. It's just a little obsession of mine. Speaking of this small condition, Luo Shifeng laughed self-deprecatingly. I've been teaching in the neurology department for more than 20 years. I've also made several conjectures about the genetic ability chain of reaction speed. I had been working hard in this direction all these years. However, there were no results. The conjecture that I had made back then had become a joke to many of my colleagues. However, up until now, I still believed that there would definitely be at least one genetic ability chain in the reaction speed category. It was just that we had not discovered it yet. Back then, many of my peers had the same thoughts as me. However, they had not made any progress in the past few years. Almost everyone had given up and turned to other directions. Me? I'm a little stubborn and lazy. I did not want to change my research direction after studying reaction speed for half my life. Therefore, I wanted to continue researching and see if there was such a possibility. But a person's strength is extremely limited, so Luo Shifeng looked at Zhu Tui. So, Mr. Luo wants me to study this genetic ability chain with you? Zhu Tui said, That's right, it is. Mr. Luo, this is not considered a condition at all. Actually, even if you didn't mention it, I would have tried to research it. However, you have been researching this area for decades, Mr. Luo. It would be extremely difficult for a student like me to produce any results, Zhu Tui said. In the next moment, Luo Shifeng's expression became extremely serious. Zhu Tui, don't underestimate yourself. Do you know why I specifically requested to teach you how to train your muscle reaction speed? Zhu Tui shook his head. Actually, even if you don't agree, I'll still teach you muscle reaction speed training. The reason why I specially suggested it is because I'm afraid of missing it, Luo Shifeng said. Miss it? Zhu Tui was even more confused. Yes, I'm afraid I'll miss you. You might not know this, but you're the fastest student I've had to activate a reaction-type genetic base point in my 20-odd years of teaching. You're the fastest. My last favorite student had only used 3 months to activate 5 reaction-type genetic base points. His reaction speed had reached 7 milliseconds. However, it has only been a month and you've activated 7 reaction-type genetic base points. In addition, no one could compare to your accuracy in the positions of the reaction-type genetic base points. Also, while you were still studying, you led the research and discovered a brand new 8th reaction-type genetic base point. And most importantly, you are the chosen student of the mystery branch of the enlightened mind branch. Having introspection is your greatest advantage. Based on this, I feel that you should be more suitable than me to continue this research path. As for myself, Luo Shifeng suddenly smiled bitterly. I've tried countless directions over the years. I've failed so many times that I'm already in despair. At this point, the bitter smile on Luo Shifeng's face disappeared. Use your introspection to sense the direction. I'll be your assistant and come up with a plan. I don't care if it comes to fruition. I'll take it as giving myself hope again. Zhu Tui instantly felt immense pressure when he heard Luo Shifeng's words. Mr. Luo, I don't feel pressured or refuse this. Don't deliberately conduct research in this area. Just continue to increase your reaction speed according to your current state. If you can't find the direction, take your time to search. You have introspection, so you should be more sensitive than the average person. It should be easier for you to find the possible direction. The fact that you were able to discover a brand new 8th reaction-type genetic base point must be related to your introspection, Luo Shifeng said. Zhu Tui looked at Luo Shifeng in surprise. It was true. Luo Shifeng was right. Mr. Luo, I have a question. Actually, introspection is not something that is exclusive to the genetic miracle lineage. Many genetic evolvers have introspection abilities. Why didn't you look for them to do some research? Zhu Tui wondered. Good question. There are 3 reasons. First, the neuronal development of genetic newcomers usually reaches its peak at the age of 16 to 18. At the peak, some neurons would constantly die and be reborn, achieving a balance between death and rebirth. However, after the age of 25, this balance would be broken. The number of new neurons would gradually decrease. This was the reason why people's reactions became slower the older they got. Most genetic evolvers were generally in their 30s or even 40s. They did not have as many advantages as young people when it came to research. Second, genetic newcomers would be able to open up the previously stable closed-loop human genome. After being injected with the genetic compound chain allele elixir, they would then be able to activate, mutate, and evolve through cultivation. Genetic liberators, genetic mutants, and genetic evolvers all originated from this place. However, this cultivation process was actually a process for the genetic newcomers to stabilize their genes. Therefore, if a genetic evolver wants to activate a new genetic ability chain, the difficulty and price they have to pay is 10 or even 100 times that of a student at your level. Basically, no one was willing to cooperate with me in this hopeless research. The third point was that they did not need it. At the genetic evolution stage, one's reaction speed would be around 1 millisecond. It won't have any substantial impact on their strength if they improve further, Luo Shifeng said. I understand. Zhu Tuin nodded. Mr. Luo, when are you going to teach me muscle reaction speed training? He asked. Luo Shifeng was stunned at first, then surprise appeared on his face. You agreed? Whine it. To me, it's just prolonging the training period for my reaction speed. However, it could be exchanged for a private tutorial by a big shot. I heard from Miss Liu Len that she charged 2,000 yuans an hour and a half for a private tutorial. You, Professor Big Shot, are here to guide me one-on-one. I've struck gold, Zhu Tuer said with a smile. Luo Shifeng looked at Zhu Tui and could not help but laugh. Zhu Tui was able to link something as important as neurological research to money. He had even made a killing. He was still as stingy as ever. Since that's the case, I'll give you the first lesson on muscle reaction speed today. Remember this well, I'm a big shot professor. I'll charge you 20,000 yuans for a lesson, isn't that too much? I'll make a note for you. If you don't study it properly, I want you to compensate me. Luo Shifeng, who was in a good mood, also joked with Zhu Tui. Muscle reaction speed was considered a small subject in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. It was only a training course. There was not even any other subject, let alone a major. Luo Shifeng had been teaching first-year students in the neurology department for more than 20 years. Although it was slightly weaker, they were still considered a faculty. But muscle reaction speed did not have a faculty, let alone a subject. It was just a class. The main reason was that there were no corresponding genetic base points in terms of muscle reaction speed. Muscle reaction speed was more of a muscle reaction strengthening and memory. The strengthening of one's muscles was related to the strength and speed type. Genetic base points in various parts of the body of the extreme branch. The so-called muscle reaction speed training usually referred to muscle memory training. Moreover, it was not that the stronger the muscles in a certain area, the faster the reaction speed of the muscles. This required professional methods and equipment for training. There was only 1 year of muscle reaction speed class in their second year. They only used professional methods and equipment to train their muscles. A person had 639 muscles in his entire body. He would take turns to strengthen them. In the future, as long as he maintained a state, he would be fine. According to Luo Shifeng, in the second year of university, what students lacked the most was not a girlfriend, but a multifunctional muscle response training chamber. They often had to make an appointment a few days in advance. However, there were 2 multifunctional muscle response training chambers that were used for research in the Neurology Research Center. Now, one of them was used by Zhu Tui. If a second-year student heard this, they would probably be green with envy. During the process of explaining the training, Luo Shifeng gave Zhu Tui another idea and concept. One theory was that Luo Shifeng believed that a person's overall reaction speed was dominated by their neural reaction speed. Another concept was that the overall reaction speed of the human body was actually an extremely complicated system engineering. Strength, speed, muscle strength, muscle stress, and even the energy field could affect the overall reaction speed to a certain extent. This reminded Zhu Tui that when Tang Ting first activated his genetic base points, he activated genetic base points related to hand speed. Actually, his hand speed should be related to his overall reaction speed. However, once the individual's neural reaction speed was put aside, To study the overall reaction speed, this problem became very complicated. The more he knew, the more mysterious and complicated he felt. On the first day of training, Luo Shifeng mainly trained the reaction speed of the muscles in Zhu Tui's head and neck. The head was the first vital point. It was also the first training and enhanced target. However, the training process was a little unfriendly. The training equipment in the multifunctional muscle response training chamber was not a laser. Instead, it was a comprehensive training method that used physical attacks as well as electric current, hot and cold stimulation. Before the half-an-hour training was over, Zhu Tui felt that his head and neck were about to swell. You will be training your limbs on Tuesday, your shoulders, back, waist, and abdomen on Wednesday, and your small muscles in special areas on Thursday. Every 4 days is a training cycle. Remember to ice it when you get back. The training ended. Zhu Tui felt as if he had been granted amnesty. He suddenly felt a little worried as he looked at himself in the mirror. His head and neck were both red and green. How can I go out and meet people like this?